I am interested in that idea of scale because so much of your work is, very exacting and, really, I feel like you could best appreciate it with a magnifying glass almost. There was a image that you showed us yesterday of the handle for one of your teapots that was a tree stump, and it had carved in, the bark of the tree, the rings of the tree that was cut.
Yeah.
You pointed out the kerf of the saw, the checks that were in the wood. I mean, just this amazing detail that, you have to get very close up to really see and appreciate. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you feel like that operates in your work. Why is, what is it about the miniature that, that's interesting to you?
Yeah, well, I guess there's a couple of things. The first being that I discovered a long time ago that, well, I guess you could say as a poet economizes words. I found a power in the conservation of material and scale and space. The aesthetic impact of a work of art, I don't think is proportional to its size alone, in terms of big scale. And here in the West, and, in our culture, very often bigger is better. I mean, it's, and I don't agree with that. I believe that the aesthetic impact of a work of art has more to do with the content of that work, the concepts behind it, and that, some pieces cry out for a large scale.
Yeah.
The murals I'm doing now that are, as much as 10 feet by 7 feet, even though they're composed of myriad small parts, that macro image cries out for that larger scale. So, but I find that, getting back to this idea of a poet, in a way I'm trying to be a poet in clay. I'm juxtaposing various images and objects to create a narrative. And I do so with a degree of economy, in terms of scale and all. Although I have to say, on the other hand, the almost overworking of the surfaces with those really intricate detail, I don't know if I could say that that's economy. That's like...
It's really maximizing the material that you have. It's sort of inserting as much content and image as possible into a very small amount of material.
And I also find that, the act of making these things, when you're working on something really incredibly small, it's such a focused activity. It's very introspective. It's very... And I think that pieces like that, when they attract a viewer, the viewers are attracted to that real intricacy, and they get down into it. And the act of forcing them to focus on the piece, I think, also forces them to be introspective.